What's up, YouTube? Luke here. Just hanging out in the mountains here in Montana, outside of West Yellowstone. Having a great day riding. Some deep snow, finding some sweet jumps. The sled I've been riding today, though, is what I want to talk to you guys about. Now, this Arctic Cat's new Riot X. Now, this sled, I didn't know what to think of this thing when we first heard about it. It sounded maybe like another version of a sled that they've already got. It's not really anything new, just a cool new name, but that's not actually the case. This is actually a very new sled with a lot of tricks that I think are really, really cool. So obviously there's two models of this. There's a Riot and a Riot X. Now AJ's already done a walk around on the Riot, and he did a test ride on that. I'm doing the Riot X, and I've done the test ride on it. So I'm sure he's explained this, but if this comes out before his does, I will explain it again. The Riot is the 50/50 crossover sled. So both models are 146s. They have different lug tracks and they have different front ends. The Riot is a full width trail front end, Arctic's new trail front end, with the very same rear end as the Riot X. The Riot X that I've got has got Arctic's mountain front end, obviously with their bone spindle, 38-inch ski stance, so it's narrow. And obviously we got some Fox QS3s here up at the front and on the rear arm. So, you know, no surprises there. You got a trail front end, a mountain front end. That's stuff Arctic's already had. What's different, though, about the Riot is this rear skid, this 146 rear skid. Now, this is kind of a hybrid between mountain and trail technology. They're calling it the cross action, and I gotta say, it's a good skid frame. It works good. I'm surprised. I expected to hate it. I really did. But I don't. I have ridden the Riot, and this sled actually, it rides pretty good on the trail. I mean, it's definitely not a full-fledged trail sled, but it rides pretty good, especially when you consider it's a 146. The Riot X that I have here has the same skid, so it rides the same in the back, and it's fine. I mean, we rode some pretty gnarly mountain access trails today, and I can't complain. Certainly rides a lot better than a dedicated mountain sled. There's no question about that. So yet another difference between the Riot and the Riot X is the lug height. The Riot has a 1.6 lug. This is a 2.25. This is one thing about the X model that I think maybe could be improved. I mean, a 2.25 is a good lug track, but the chances are a person who's buying a Riot X is buying it to ride really deep snow. And if they're doing that, probably a 2.4, 2.5, 2.6 would be a better choice, but the 2.25 does work good. I rode it in waist deep snow today, and it side-hilled fine. It climbed, it did everything I wanted it to do. I only got stuck once, which was my fault, so I can't really complain too much, but I think that would be a good improvement. A few other things about this sled that are worth noting. The Riot X has Arctic's telescopic steering post, which is nice. I like that. It works good. It's certainly functional. If you're going to ride up the mountain on the trail, you can have it low, and then when you get up to the mountain, if you want to crank it up to slay some sweet pow, you can do that too. There's no windshield on this sled. It's got this kind of nifty looking deflector deal, but don't expect it to be even the least bit warm, because it's not. Another thing about the steering post on the X model is that it's the vertical steering post that Arctic's M sleds use. You can see that the space for the trail post is still there, but this is more mountainous, so it's up in the straight up position. The skid has got a QS3 on the rear arm, but just a regular Fox shock on the front. And you know, I guess I get it, but snowmobile technology has changed to the point now where we all know the front arm is doing a lot more work than it used to. It used to be all about the rear arm. Now it's all about the front arm. So, in my opinion, putting a high quality, fully adjustable shock on the front arm would be would be worthwhile. It would be worth whatever extra expense it took to get it done. You got a cool little mountain rack here on the back. Arctic's mountain sleds come with that. It's good for holding on a gas can or whatever. So, the Riot X is a is an 8000, obviously a C-Tech 2, and you know, there's been a lot said about Arctic's lack of an 850 or 860 in their lineup, and while I do agree to a point, I think that there's certainly room for that. This 800 C-Tech 2 works real good. It really does. I mean, it hauls, it pulls real hard up top. For a sled with a 2.25 lug and a 146 length, you really want to spin that track fast to get you moving in the deep stuff, and this 8000 has no trouble doing that. I really like the coloration on this sled too. It's hard to see it. It's different in person even than on this video, or probably even in our test ride, but in person it's pretty sexy. The green is not nearly as bright a green as Arctic usually uses. It's kind of a dulled down green with black and blue accents, and the blue really pops. I like it. The only blue I don't like is the bumper, but I like the skid and the spindles and everything. It's a metallic blue too, so it shines real nice in the sun, and that's important, right? Mountain seat. On the regular ride, I think the mountain seat wasn't a good choice. Obviously on the X model, it makes a lot of sense and it works really, really well. You get things like a tunnel bag back here. Most Arctic sleds come with that. Goggle bag up here, though I thought it was pretty cool because it's magnetic. Works really good, and it's warm in there. Takes engine heat and directs it up into the goggle bag, so it not only thaws your goggles, but it actually defogs them and defrosts them. It works really well. So, overall, I think this sled's a real winner. I really do. I think that if you're the kind of guy or girl who doesn't necessarily want to climb huge hills or doesn't ride in huge mountains like those ones, this is the perfect sled for you. This sled, but you still want to be able to go in deep powder. You still want to be able to powder hook like a boss. You still want to have fun and not worry about getting stuck. I think that this sled is perfect. I mean, its name Riot really fits its personality. It's a riot to ride, pun intended. But it's a very rowdy sled. Because it's short, but has a decent paddle, it really likes to lift the front end. It likes to pivot, and you can do hard powder hooks, you know, with this short sled. And it's kind of a different feeling than your typical mountain sled. I mean, a lot has been said about Polaris's Chaos in the 155, and that is a great sled, but it is a mountain sled. It's meant for mountains. This thing is meant more for sort of gnarly flatland free riding, I guess, is how I would peg it. And in that element, it does great. I mean, the Riot itself, as the 50/50 crossover, man, it's probably as close as any other sled has come to that true 50/50 other than Polaris's Switchback Assault. And that's saying a lot, because everybody who watches SnowTrax knows we love the Switchback Assault. So to say that the regular Riot comes close, and it does, it comes very close. I would put it at like a 45/55 crossover. That's saying something. The Riot, though, again, is not a crossover sled. If I had to say it was a crossover sled, I would say it was like an 80/20 off-trail. So that's not really a crossover, in my opinion. Of all the things I like about this sled in terms of looks, the one thing you're going to have to pay attention to if you do buy one of these things is this. That green attracts dirt and grime. It's a trade-off. It's worth it. The green's cool. So, I really don't have anything else to say about this sled. I think I've said it all. I like it. It works really well. This one has electric start, which is sweet, and it's push-button electric start, which is also sweet. So you got your gauge cluster up here. You got your switch gear here. It's Arctic's new switch gear. And your start button is right here. So you can see it right there. There you go. It's also your reverse button, which is neat. The bars are in good shape. I really like this brake. This brake is slick. It's a great lever shape. It's comfortable. It's just the right distance from the bar. It's easy to modulate. It's got lots of power. I really like the brake on this sled. So there you go. Arctic's new Riot X 146. I spent today on this sled launching some pretty ridiculous, gnarly jumps, slaying some super deep pow, doing a bit of side hilling in some trees. Everywhere I've taken this sled, it has done exactly what I wanted it to, and done it well. I have no complaints at all about how it's set up right now. I really like this thing. I've ridden it hard, I pushed it hard. I tried everything, and it didn't let me down once. So if you're looking for a sled that fits this sort of specialty, the Riot X is really a good choice. I'm putting my stamp of approval on this thing for sure. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. We've tried to do a lot more walk around videos this year of new sleds to get them up early before SnowTrax starts next year. I hope you guys appreciate that. We love doing it for you. Keep watching. We'll see you next time. Thanks, guys.